My name's Simon. This here is my 2005 Dodge Sprinter 2500. That's the 3/4 ton diesel. It's the T1N. This is the one that has no emissions, no DEF, and it's the one that they claim runs 1,000,000 miles. And I've seen some high miles on these things. So they're awesome. I'm gonna give you a run around. This is one I specifically built to go to the coast and do surf trips on extended trips. My other van is the Westie, is more of a weekend. This is the I'm gonna go to Mexico van. Come and join me, I'll show you around this one. So I always tell people when they're going to start a van build, you want to get a priority list. Get those priority lists and work your way down what you want the most. For me, obviously, it's going to be a tequila bar. Makes sense, right? So I brought in a tequila bar with a little night light going on, and we can have some cocktails in the evening, accessible from the outside. Not high priority, but it managed to fit in there. So this is my outside little bar. It's utility. I've got some storage down here, making use of all the space I can underneath the cabinets, which I'll show you later. But yeah, that's the outside bar. It's kind of a novelty, and my little doodling here. It's a wave I've been drawing since I was about 10. That's it, that's the start. So come on inside and I'll show you around on the inside. So for long extended trips, you've got a few necessities. You need a hot plate, a burner. So I got a two burner propane stove that runs off a single 1-pound tank. Those things will last quite a while. There's no need to have a massive tank in that one. A sink with a 5-gallon fresh water, a 5-gallon obviously gray water, using a drop-in sump style pump. Removes any big pumps and hoses, just drops straight into the tank. Dometic fridge will run pretty much everything. Tonic water for cocktails. Can you see a theme here? And my electrics all run here. This is the remote for my electrics. We'll get into that. We'll be in the back in a little bit. Cabinets, you may have seen this done before. I bought Flatpack Ikea cabinets. Narrowed them up by a couple of inches, giving myself plenty of room. And they fit in nice. What I do recommend is, if you're gonna do that, reinforce the cabinets, glue everything, extra screws, glue and staple all the backs, and then hard mount them to the chassis of the van. You don't want those things moving around. A lot of people just put them together like they came straight out of Europe and just plonked them on. If you do that, they're gonna rattle loose. So there's the cabinets. They all match, everything matches, and they're mounted up. I built a frame for my upper cabinets to make sure it mounted to the chassis, the side chassis there of the cab. That way it's nice and strong and I can put whatever I want inside these. You've seen this before, I'm sure. 80-pound or 60-pound magnets on doors, keeps everything in. Again, these are Ikea cabinets, stock size. Them being square in the back, I do lose a little bit of space in the back, but I utilize that with some lighting in the back so that we have some back mood lighting for those Netflix and chill nights. Those of you who've seen my Westie episode, that is a small version of a camper. My wife said to me that was great for a weekend trip, but not so much on an extended trip. So I thought, what can I do to build out a different van? So the platform I used was the Dodge Sprinter. I went through my priority list and I wanted to make sure I had plenty of room for my bikes inside, plenty of room for my surfboards inside, and I went for that garage area, so I didn't have to have anything on the outside. I can pull up and know that all my stuff is safe. And then started adding stuff that my wife wanted on her priority list, stuff that I wanted on my priority list, and then figured out a way to put it all into that van. And I gotta say, and all my buddies are gonna hate me for this, but I spent some solid time on Pinterest. Okay, yet again, this is another Ikea Flatpack. This is, I think, their TV cabinet, and I modified it and used it because it comes with drawers. Again, my 60-pound magnets are holding it in place. I utilized this and it became also a second bed, which pulls out and slides down, giving you a little bit more room, and turns it into a bed for a third person to be here. Just means you've got to modify and kind of use your little bit of brains up here and figure out how to make it slide and use the storage. Again, the Ikea Flatpack measure it out. This happens to be 72 inches long, which is the standard length of a bed. So it worked out fine. You can go onto Ikea and they give you all the measurements, all the sizes of all the cabinets, and you can get them all to match, which is what I did. Makes it well finished when you get it done. All right, so this is the bed area. Most people who do vans and have bikes in the back, you're going to need at least a 34-inch rise on that bed. People have been using 2x4s. I tried not to use any 2x4s or as little wood as I possibly could for the structure in this. So I built and welded up side rails for the bed. And here's a little tip for you. If you're going to do a bed, the cheapest way I found to do it is to go to Harbor Freight and buy a trifold loading ramp. Drill out the hinges, separate them. There's your bed. So there's your bed platform. It's aluminum, or as we say in Australia, aluminium. And it struts. It's perfect size to go side to side. You don't have to cut anything. You don't have to do anything but remove the hinges. So bed is the Lucid 5-inch foam mattress. It's the memory foam, and it's the RV Queen. So I've got plenty of room to lay out and sprawl out. My wife doesn't kick me in the middle of the night. Well, she still kicks me in the middle of the night, but I can get away from her. So that's the bed area. We got the fans up here like everyone else does. It's the Thermo fantastic fan. And then I did go for windows, the bunkhouse windows on the side. I had the flip out ones so that you can have them open even if it's raining. The sliders, if you got a little sideways rain, is going to come in, so I didn't want that. So I had the flip out windows, and they work great. So it's always a little intimidating grinding those holes and cutting those holes in the side of a fresh van, but you got it. You can do it. So back in the mid 80s, I tried my hand at being a professional surfer, which lasted about, well, that long. But I traveled around Europe in a 1979 Volkswagen bus. It was a Westie bus. So I guess I've been doing this a little bit here and there since the mid 80s. I jumped into my 1980 Westie. And the reason I got into the Sprinter van was because I'm getting old. You know, my back is sore, and when I go on surf trips, I want somewhere that I can spread out. So my inspiration for this was somewhere comfortable, but not too crazy. I want to have some facilities to me, whether it's a TV or a stove or a bathroom. And so, you know, I've come from the 80s, rocking around with a bunch of smelly surfers around France and Spain, to, you know, doing the same thing, but hanging out with my wife and my dog and going to the beach. And that's why I got into the building out the Sprinters. I found that I could customize it to the way I wanted it. And if somebody else wants it, I can customize the way they want it too. Okay, so I wanted to keep my, my plates and stuff from rattling. So I actually built a grooved plate stacker. Cups all hang. They're on, again, Ikea little hooks. I think everyone has these from Ikea. I think every van lifer just instantly subscribes. You're not a van lifer unless you have an Ikea spice rack and your plastic succulents. It's mandatory, I guess. I have electrics for a TV. My TV is a smart TV, so I can run it off my hotspot. People say it's not camping if you got a TV, but I say I've been married for 27 years. On a cold, windy, wet night, I'm running out of stuff to talk to my wife about, so Netflix it is. This is all electric. We're running 12 volt through here. Let's jump in the back and I'll show you how the electrics work. All right, up on the roof for power, I've got 300 watts of Zamp solar panels. That'll run down pre-wired in before I built this whole thing into my Victron MPPT charge controller. I've been using Victron because the connections and the usability is amazing with these guys. It's all Bluetooth. I can access it from the front seat, from the back seat to see how my panels are running, if I need to relocate, if I've got a shadow, get the maximum out of it, which is kind of nice. Into my charge controller, into my two 200 amp hours of batteries on the bottom there. Then back into my Victron, it's a sine wave inverter, which is going to run all my 110, which is going to run my power outlets and my TV. The rest of the stuff is all 12 volt, the fridge, the pumps, the lighting, the USB outlets are all run 12 volt. I generally only use the inverter for the TV and the rest of it's turned off. I like this system with the Victron because it does have an eco mode, which allows you to keep the inverter on and it will shut off once it sees there's no signal. So if the TV's off, it'll shut it down so you're not using some phantom power. In the back here, along with the electrics, I've got the back end of the toilet. That was a must that my wife said she had to have, so we've got a toilet in there. On the left here, which are removable, is surf racks. I'm a big surfer, I make surfboards, have done for years, so my surf racks are able to carry up to 6 surfboards. For the longer ones, you can see it goes through into the cab there. I've opened it up, so not all my boards are short boards, I've got a couple of long ones. In addition, I have mounts for 2 mountain bikes. L-track for side storage, Albertsons, I promise I'll get your baskets back one day, and my 21-gallon tank for my hot water shower. That's a must. After coming out of the surf, rinse yourself off, or even if you're going to do dishes, get some hot water, throw it up front. Plenty of room in the garage for extras, tubs of gear, wetsuits, hanging space for wetsuits, hanging space for mountain bike helmets. We just got back from a trip, like a 1,200-mile trip. I have more room than I need to know. So the garage is clutch for me. This is the long wheelbase version, so I'm able to have 75-inch garage back here. Now, this is not your Airstream, Winnebago, Rockstar bus, but I wanted to kind of slot somewhere in the middle between the Airstream quality and the hippie that just built his van out of recycled pallets. I wanted to be cozy, comfortable. I wanted new cabinets. And this can be done by pretty much anybody. You can do it too. It's just a matter of figuring out math where the cabinets are going to go and figure out a floor plan. Remember, get your priority list, set it out, and then figure out a way to stuff it all into a van. All right, so by popular demand and the way of the world as it is now, I guess I've got to have an Instagram and I can show you some of my builds and show you some of the other builds I've done. You can look up Warden Van Builder, one word, Warden Van Builder. Thanks for joining me on my tour of my Sprinter, and maybe I'll catch you at the beach. Let's get a few ways together. And if you need a van build, see me. If you need a surfboard, see me. If you need anything else, forget it. That's all I do.